How's it going, guys? Long time no see. I just wanted to give an update on what I've been up to, as well as promote some of the work that I actually have for sale right now. I got into casting and molding helmets, and without further ado, here are some of my products. So to start off with, on the far right here, we have some, we're calling them the Archetypes. It's basically a standard Mandalorian helmet modeled after Boba Fett or Jango Fett. As you can see from these pulls, I am somewhat amateur as far as my mold making goes, but we'll get into the quality of the helmet that I actually end up shipping, that paints up perfect and flawlessly nonetheless. So this is a project with my friend Jameson Toy, owner of L Toy Creations. He's a 3D printer. He prints all kinds of things, and you can find him at ltoycreations.com. So he had designed and 3D printed this standard original Fett helmet. And what I in turn did was make a mold of it. And these are two of the casts. So this cast is a fresh cast. As you can see, there are a couple of air bubbles in the silicone, which have produced some sanding areas for me before they get out and sent out to whomever purchases them. Because this is all hand done, not that many issues on the inside as far as smoothness or texture. I do pay close attention to that when I'm rolling or slush casting. So this is actually the very first pull. So I will be making a master mold off of this actual helmet here. We've sold 3 helmets privately, non-announced, to local friends and whatnot. And I do have some of those pictures of those completed helmets on my Facebook page, called Random Loot Table. I think if you look it up, it's also attached to my personal Facebook page. Anyways, so this I'm refining even more. So everyone who received a helmet gets everything filled in with Bondo, and then I continue to sand everything out up to 800 grit sandpaper, so it comes out polished, shiny, and new, and a little bit of brown spots due to some pitting, but it's a perfectly wearable, usable helmet nonetheless. And yeah, I can't wait to actually paint one of my own for display purposes and costume purposes, because they are pretty cool. The size on this, it fits me. I'm 6 feet tall, about 185 pounds. Some people do have issues. If your head size runs a little bit large, this probably wouldn't be the helmet for you. But like I said, it does fit me. It does fit several other people that are the same frame as me. So it's all based on head size. We're going to market this as a medium. And Lauren is actually currently redesigning this helmet, or in this design, and upsizing it about 30% or 25%, somewhere in that range. Okay, so moving on, we have my first sellable mold here, or sculpt. This is my Sabine inspired Mandalorian helmet, Sabine from Star Wars Rebels. And on the far right here, this is my raw cast. So this is what I end up pulling from my mold. As you can see, a lot of issues here as far as lines and edges. What I ended up doing, I did the basic bucket build method that I use with hard hats and 5-gallon buckets. But then in turn, instead of using Bondo, I ended up using clay to smooth out edges. So what happened was, you know, what looks good on clay doesn't necessarily reflect well on a cast or the mold. So some lines got missed and edges got missed. Not a problem. So this is a pull. This is the untouched, unaltered, unhandled pull. And then we move on to this gal right here, who's about to get shipped off to Denver. I think she is number 15 right here. So as you can see, big difference. I know the lighting's bad, sorry. But I spent about an hour and a half in the garage sanding her up and getting her ready. Had there been any air bubbles or whatnot in the casting resin, I would have filled with Bondo. Luckily this one came out damn near perfect. And so again, down to an 800 grit sandpaper. And I'm starting to get the hang of handling my mother mold as far as my slush casting goes. And these keep coming out better and better and better, and much better than the first couple. So number one, the first pull of this is actually in Northern California with a fellow Merc friend who ended up buying it, kind of wanting to buy it back. So here we have number two. So as you can see on the inside, I kind of wasn't, let's say, I haven't refined my pour techniques and whatnot, so it's very rough, very rough. No one has received a helmet to this date that looks like this on the inside. So this is number two, and this is actually for my wife's Sabine costume. Very fun to paint. And then here we move on to my wife's almost finished new helmet for her custom Mandalorian. I believe this is helmet number three. So again, slightly better as far as textures and the pour ratios and stuff. They come out a little, this is still a little bit top heavy. This is top heavy as well, and then thin on the sides. And what has happened over time, I've realized that less is better on the top and more is better on the sides, because this is where you're constantly grabbing the helmet to take it off and on. The dome is a dome and very strong. So that is what I've been up to. I'll put this link up on my my Etsy shop's Facebook page and everything to give everyone a idea more so of what they're getting and the time spent. So everyone have a good night, and talk to you later.